Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another review by Project. I'm Psycho again with you today, and in this one we're gonna be doing the review of a new one, a new 8-bit styled game, kind of a metroidvania styled, which has been released a couple of years ago, or it's been a year or two, Alwa's Awakening. So, let's just get on to everything. First of all, we're going to start off with a bit of a story and the background to the whole game. So, you will be playing in the game as the young female protagonist Zoe, who has been teleported, or transported actually, to the town of Alwa, which has been taken over by an evil sage and his minions, and you as the protagonist are pretty much going to be doing everything in your power to save it. As far as the story goes throughout it, you're going to be facing 4 bosses to actually be able to unlock the 5th and final one. And throughout the progression of the story, you're going to be obtaining new powers to kind of help you on your adventure. But as in most of the classical 8-bit platformer Castlevania kind of games, these powers will pretty much not be helping you to fight enemies, but they will be meant to actually explore new places, get to 200 grounds that you previously weren't able to, and pretty much continue on with the story. The map itself is quite big actually, with about, I think there's about 400 rooms to explore throughout the whole quest, and the 3 power-ups that you get throughout the game will pretty much help you. The combat system is pretty much the same throughout the whole game. You're just going to be slapping enemies with the staff that you obtain in the beginning of the game. And later on in the game, when you obtain the lightning power-up, you're pretty much going to be able to shoot them with lightning bolts as well. But, as said, the primary functions of the 3 power-ups that you get throughout the game are to help you traverse throughout the world, explore new areas, and get to new places. Throughout the map, you will be finding save spots, which are pretty much kind of like checkpoints throughout the game, which if you die, you will be respawned at the save room, or as we're just gonna call it, checkpoint. There is an assisted mode as well, which will give you the kind of the assistance of not going back to the save point, but will respawn you in the same room if you die. The HP and everything itself is not limited. You've got infinite lives throughout the game, which is quite fun actually, since you don't have to start way back if you pretty much mess it up because of, I don't know, maybe the mechanics, or you were just not being careful. But the frustrating part is that you have a death counter every time you die, which tells you how many times you've died, which is a bit more frustrating actually than going back, since at the end of the game you pretty much see how many times you've died up until the part of getting through the whole game. The duration of the game is pretty much about 8 to 10 hours of gameplay with all the exploration and everything. And the map itself, as you can see, is not really useful throughout the exploration. It's a classic NES styled map, which just gives you the location of where you are, where you've been, and where you could still go. But that's pretty much all that the map gives you, which is actually fun because it gives you a lot more to the exploration than just going through the game in a pretty much linear style, beating up enemies and getting through the bosses to save the world. That is why the game can be a bit longer than it was intended, because of the whole exploration thing. but it gives a great sense of exploration, and you can actually spend a lot of time in the game just exploring and reaching new areas, getting collectibles, and everything else throughout the game. The combat system, as I said, is pretty much straightforward with the staff that you get, or the scepter that you get in the beginning of the game, with which you pretty much slap enemies until you get to the lightning power-up, which gives you the ranged lightning attack to have a new way to deal with enemies. As I was saying, there are 3 power-ups throughout the game: the ability to summon green blocks, blue bubbles, and the lightning power-up, which you have to pretty much smartly combine to actually get to new areas, get through the world, and reach new places to kind of progress with your game. It gives you a nice learning curve, which starts out with using just the basics of one ability and then combining them to actually proceed on with the game. There is one part that kind of frustrated me throughout the gameplay of it, which were the hidden walls. There are hidden walls hidden throughout the game where you actually need to go through them to reach new areas, but they are hidden so damn well that they aren't even shown. You pretty much have to guess or get a hint from the enemies where the hidden walls are to actually be able to find them. But it is kind of frustrating from time to time if you don't know that there is a hidden wall, but after you get the hang of it, it kind of gives you a nice sense of completion that you finally managed to find the way forward. The only thing I've missed throughout the game is probably more boss fights. There are 5 boss fights in total, which are really fun actually. They were really well made, but as I was saying, I've missed more of those. There could be a lot more of the boss fights to actually challenge you and give you new rewards and everything, which don't even have to be power-ups or anything, just collectibles, which would make the game even more fun than just a straight up going through 400 rooms and reaching the bosses. All in all, the game is a great look on the retro style 8-bit metroidvania genre. They've kept all of the great things and pretty much upgraded it with a kind of puzzle-like feel to the game. So I'd recommend it to all of you guys who've enjoyed all of the older games and are pretty much into gaming since the NES, because this is pretty much the thing that got us hooked into gaming. These kinds of games, the classic 8-bit style platformer exploring adventures. But even to other players who actually love a good challenge in the game and would like to kind of like thinking games and games with a higher difficulty, because the game itself isn't really that easy to get through. So that's going to be pretty much all from my side for this one, and in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment on the videos, and I hope you enjoyed the review.